So that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to be just upcycling junk that was given to me for free and turning it into beautiful home decor. So we've got lots of upcycling. Let's get started. Today's first upcycling project involves turning a wooden stand, possibly used for plants, into a basic stool. To begin with, I'm going to measure the legs and make them slightly shorter so they're going to be more of a better length to sit on. After measuring, I'm going to use my jigsaw to cut the legs and ensure that they're all the same length. I was really excited when I had a friend show up with this plant stand because I visioned a stool right away. I'm also going to save those ends that I've cut off because I can put those to use in another project. The paint on this stand almost feels like it might have been enamel based. I probably could have used a paint stripper, but I felt like I wanted to spend a whole bunch of time sanding today. So I put on my 80 grit sandpaper and went to work, and it took a lot of sanding, but I love the results. I see stools like this with really high price tags at high-end stores, so I'm really excited that I'm able to recreate this from a thrift store find for a fraction of the price. To achieve a weathered and aged appearance, I'm going to be using a variety of different tools, such as a chain, hammer, putty knife, some pliers to distress that wooden surface. By intentionally adding these dings and dents and worn corners, I'm aiming to create a farmhouse-like aesthetic that suggests that the piece has been around for over a century. I'm also going to use my utility knife to cut chunks out of the wood here. And while this process may not be for the faint of heart, I assure you the end result's going to be worth it. Once I achieved all of that desired texture, I'm going to go over the wood with an 80 grit sander to smoothen out all those notches, chunks, and preserve that aged look. After completing all the sanding, it's time to apply some wax for that finishing touch. Now here's a little twist. I'm going to use some of my leftover shoe polish from another project as the top coat for this stool. I have some black and clear shoe polish, and I'm going to mix them together to create a shade that's not overly dark. I'm going to apply that shoe wax, and it's going to provide a durable, permanent finish on this stool. As I rub it in, all the wax is going to seep into those notches and dings, and it's going to accentuate them, adding that even more to that aged look. It's the perfect final touch. And if you don't have shoe polish, don't worry, you can use your regular finishing wax to achieve the same results. Personally, I'm absolutely in love with how it turned out. This stool is finding a special place in my kitchen, right where it belongs. For my next project, I'm rummaging through my junk drawer in search of 4 old doorknobs. I have this wonderful idea to repurpose them along with a piece of salvaged wood into a fun DIY coat rack. Interestingly, these doorknobs were given to me by a friend who knew I could create something beautiful with them. So here's my take on it. To start, I'm sanding down that salvaged wood using a 120 grit sandpaper to remove all of that outdated varnish. I always ask my friends to save unique items instead of throwing them away. They know I love upcycling and transforming discarded items into something beautiful, and it's my way of reducing waste and avoiding filling up landfills. Instead of burning or wasting these items, I'm giving them a new life and purpose. Did you know you can create a cost-effective wood stain by just mixing instant coffee with hot water? It's a simple solution that works wonders for staining your DIY projects. Try it out and you might be amazed by the results. To attach the doorknobs to the piece of wood, I'm going to be using a product called JB Weld Steel Stick. It's a putty that you mix together, and once it hardens, it provides a secure bond. I also have double-ended screws that are going to fit perfectly into the doorknobs. Here's how it works. I'm going to quickly mold that steel stick, ensuring it's a consistent color, and blend it in and mixed well. Then you're going to insert it into the bottom opening on that doorknob. After that, I'll place the screw into the putty, and as it dries, the putty will act like cement, permanently fixing that screw to the doorknob. And this is going to allow us to securely attach those doorknobs to that salvaged piece of wood. Point, I enlisted the help of my husband because, well, let's just say Patience and I aren't best friends, especially when it comes to measurements. With his guidance, we marked the 4 spots where each doorknob was going to be placed on the wood, and then I made a small test pilot hole to ensure that it was going to screw in easy. Now, all that's left is to screw in those doorknobs and attach them securely to the wood. Before proceeding, I let these doorknobs sit overnight to make sure that they were dry fully before we screwed them in. Important to remember that everything in this project was obtained for free. The salvage wood was discovered in a pile of discarded pieces, and the doorknobs were generously given to me by a friend. These doorknobs are truly stunning with their unique weathering and patina. I'm grateful that I can bring these materials together and transform what would otherwise have been waste into something truly beautiful. This coat rack is headed to my cabin. It's going to be a perfect addition, and it's going to complement that decor wonderfully. Another find from the scrap metal bin. This poor old little step stool or step ladder is in really rough shape. It's kind of crooked. The legs have kind of been bent a little bit, but I have a fantastic idea of how to upcycle this. I'm going to take everything apart and give it a really good cleaning. Scrape all the loose paint off of it, give it a little sanding, and see if I can straighten up the legs a little bit. I'm not sure if I can, but look at that beautiful red paint that's on the bottom of this. I'm going to try to recreate that red. And I had this red in my cabinet and it matched pretty good. So I'm going to paint all of those wooden steps with the red paint. For the frame of this stepladder, I had this turquoise blue spray paint, which I absolutely love. I think it's going to look beautiful with the red, so I gave everything a really good coat of the blue. Everything's completely dry, and we're going to put it all back together. And here's how I upcycled it. A beautiful spot to keep some of my potted plants. I hope you've enjoyed today's upcycles, and I'd love to know down in the comments which one was your favorite.